Hi everybody. Our app is called Opti-Charge to maximize the life of your EV battery through intelligent microcharging. Before I start, I want to introduce my team. So my name is Tony Wolf. I was in charge of the organizational stuff. Samit Kumar was in charge of the programming stuff. And last but not least, Sharky was our design manager. And she made every buggy code of us at least still look nice. Okay, so let's start. Next slide. The idea is, okay, everybody knows of the problem that EV batteries has a very limited life cycle. Okay? And our idea is to optimize the EV charging patterns to minimize the battery aging. Okay, how does it work? So let me introduce you a little bit to battery life. Every battery has a state of health, which is highly dependent on the state of charge. Okay, what we want to do is, so that means every battery has a charging gap in where the state of health or the lifetime is maximum. And what we want to do is that to approach the actual gap of charging into that optimal gap. Okay. So we use as input the trip profiles, which can be controlled and created by the user, and we use inputs about available charging stations, which we get from the ChargePoint API. And as an output and as a result, we have an intelligent adaptation of the upper and lower SOC limits in your EVP and your EV. Okay, next slide. Okay, here you see the periphery. In the middle you have your smartphone, which provides the GPS position. Here you have charge time, which gives us all the available charge stations around your car. Here you see the OEM, for example BMW, which has to provide us the optimum, minimal, maximum charge of your EV battery. And from the car we get the average miles per kilowatt hours, and we can adapt then the actual minimum and maximum charge of the battery. Next slide. Oh.
Want to do the
browser?
Want to show the, yeah.
Yes. So we made a prototype of our app on a browser, and here you can see the first prototype. Below here you can see the Google Maps API, and here you can see there is the BMW technology office in the middle, and surrounded by all the available charge points, charge stations, which we get from the ChargePoint API. In front you see, on upper you see a visualization of the battery and the maximum and minimum actual charge, and then an estimation of the approximately range. Okay, now Sharky will go on with our design.
Around 3 minutes, wrap it up, guys.
Okay. Well, we'll just show the big screen. There we go. Okay. All right, so this is the user interface portion of the application. And we see this as a standalone application and also as an application that can be componentized into larger application frameworks. So essentially what you have is a split view here where you have battery optimization statistics on one side, you have battery optimization visualization on the other side, and you see here how we have 70% and 50%, which represent the upper and lower thresholds of where you just don't really want to go outside that element. And the green bar in the middle represents the OEM's sweet spot for where battery charge should remain. Okay? Down here, what we have, one of the more interesting things is that the user is able to basically create radiuses based on their behavior. So their behavior being, usually I go from home to work, I go from work to the pub, I go, I have these patterns, And so by taking that pattern data and re-expressing it here through this data visualization, we're able to track and determine your approximate range that will keep you within that sweet spot.
Okay, we're going to stop you there for a second.
Sure.
So, overall charge status is one thing. It's going to contribute to the battery range.
You
but
probably
also,
get into this better
yeah.
than
But we're also talking thermal loads, hot, cold, that kind of thing. That's one component of keeping the battery going for a long period of time. This isn't just charge, but the amount of thermal load that's on it. How do you plan on addressing that?
So when I understand the question that you were asking,
Lithium-ion chemistry, the chemistry in the battery packs,
Yes,
is very much affected by heat and cold.
yes, of course.
Those things have just as big of an impact on the life of the battery
Mhm.
as charge status. So how would you get around that?
So we just focus on really the charging pattern of the user and the driver. Of course, the lifetime of battery is dependent on much more things beside the charging pattern of the driver, but we just focus on this one because, for example, the temperature of the battery is regulated by the car.
And this is something the driver can control. This gives them control, but there are definitely more variables.
How are you pulling down this data?
This data about what?
Yeah, how are you getting the data on charge status and all the other stuff?
The state of charge and the max and min, how are you putting it?
So the maximum and minimum optimal limit we get from the OEM because that's only specific for this car and this battery pack, and the actual maximum and minimum threshold we provide, so we control it. We give it to the car or the OBD of the car.
Right, but how are you getting that data from the OEM?
Yeah, we hope that
BMW.
that every OEM, for example BMW, will provide us this information about the
But we
and
know
the
we have
battery.
some, yeah.
Thanks.